Hi, my name is Paul Friedman. I'm the founder of the Marriage Foundation, and this topic, how to stop doubting your husband, could be seen as very tough, but it's tied into a very important topic. I started the Marriage Foundation principles and developing the teachings for marriage in 2001. I used to be a divorce mediator, and I was working with one young couple, and they both started to cry. They didn't want to get a divorce. They wanted me to help them fix their marriage. I said, okay. I mean, it was probably not professional, but I was moved to do so. And so I said, I need a little time to get into this. Obviously, my specialty at the time was communication, helping people work through problems. That's what I did as a divorce mediator. And so when I started talking to my friends who were psychologists, they were the ones who would send me clients, they didn't really impress me with knowing much about marriage, to be quite honest. And I try to have an open mind. Before that, I was married. I had a 20-year marriage, and I ended up getting a divorce after seeing, I had plenty of money. So we saw the best marriage therapists around. Now, I have to tell you, I like people who become psychologists because they're coming from a place of wanting to serve others, to help. How they began that, it doesn't really matter. Some people maybe who were psychologists had their own difficulties, but they did want to serve others. So I appreciate those people. And I asked my friends, and they didn't have an answer to my questions. By now, I believed in divorce when I was a divorce mediator. And then I thought, you know what? I got to work on this myself. I have to figure out marriage myself. So I began with a question. The question itself took me some time to ask, to reach that question, which is odd because I've been a businessman, and you always ask the question, what are you trying to achieve? So here the obvious question is, why did you get married in the first place? Well, if you look it up now, and don't forget, we didn't have the same search things that we have today. This is over 20 years ago. But if you look up, why do people get married? The statistics, I mean, it's obvious. We get married because we fall in love. And I went, no. Why get married at all? Fine, you fall in love. But getting married, there's a lot to it. And my answer to that question was like most people's answers. I wanted the companionship. I wanted to be with someone I loved. I wanted to have children. You know, I was brought up in a culture where that was very important. That answer wasn't universal. Those answers weren't universal. So I had to dig deeper. I started asking everybody I saw, including people I was standing behind or in front of the line at Starbucks. I did love Starbucks. Now I make my own coffee. It's better. And I would ask people, why do you get married? And they'd say, well, I fell in love. No. Why get married at all? And nobody really had an answer. And finally, I started to ponder it myself. And I'm a spiritual guy. I've been meditating since 1972. And, you know, I want God, and I try to live a very moral life and try to dig deep into a connection with God. So I thought, you know what? Let me ask him. So I did meditate. And finally, the answer showed itself. We all get married to be happy, right? So simple, crazy simple. But isn't it true? You don't get married to fight with each other. You don't get married just to have children or just for companionship. Whatever the answer is, in fact, those sub-answers are sub-answers. They all are there in the back of your mind or the front of your mind because it's going to make you happy. Wow. I thought, that's actually a very spiritual thing. You see, we're human beings and we have free will. And we want to experience joy, which is what we are as a soul. This is not religious, it's just what it is. We're souls. We have a body and we have a mind. So I thought, okay, that's really not enough. What else? And I realized, I asked again, what makes people happy? Getting a new car? For me. Building something? For me. Maybe for you it's something else, but we want to be happy. But what makes us all happy that all of us can have? I was looking for the common denominators. It's love. Love makes all of us, every single one of us, happy. I'm going to go further. Without love, we're miserable. Makes sense. We're souls. Souls are created in God's image. Love, joy. There you have it. I don't know why it took me so long to get there. Maybe it's for the same reason all of us have trouble with marriage, because we're mistaught all of these things about marriage. We learn how to communicate properly. Not that communication isn't important, it is, but it doesn't solve a marriage. What solves a marriage is this, is being focused on achieving these two elements, love and joy. Seeking is not enough. We have free will and we have volition. We have the ability to put into practice what we choose, so we need to always choose love and joy over anything else that we may think we want at the moment. There's an old saying I love, do what you should do, not what you want to do. Fits completely. Now, and I haven't forgotten the topic, how to stop doubting your husband. I haven't forgotten that. But we're not going to just jump on that with some silly thing. I want you to really understand this. So on one side, you have love my husband, bring joy into our marriage. And on the other side, your mind, not you, you're a soul, but the mind is doubting your husband. The question now becomes, who is in charge? You, the soul, or the mind? Right? So with my first couple, the one who asked me to help them save their marriage, what I did was I laid it out in that simple a format. It's always a thought, every single action, because we have free will, is a binary choice. Do I go this way or do I go that way? Do I do that which will make us happy and bring love into the marriage? Or do I allow doubt, fear, jealousy, all of these negative things? So I let those into the marriage. And we spent time talking about it. We didn't have 12 months kind of therapy. I'm not a therapist. And in fact, I hope you're subscribed to this channel. If not, do it now. Do it now. And we're going to be training, we are training now, we'll be training people on an online course who want to be TMF marriage counselors, not therapists. Therapists come to us. We have a lot who follow us out of the, at this point, 37,000 subscribers. Many are therapists, many are clergy, because they want better information. So this first couple went away happy, and things started to work out for them. Just with that, just that little bit information. Now, I worked with couples for 8 years. That was in 2001, until my son died and I couldn't meet with anyone anymore. But I kept developing processes and systems and all kinds of methods, all kinds of techniques. Great package. That's how we were able to do this online and have the courses that we have, one for men and one for women. But they came back. The husband actually was the one who came back a week or two later. Paul, this stuff is great, except no matter how much I want to, I can't. And I thought, truth of the matter is at this time, and remember it was 2001, in the 90s I decided I was going to give up anger because I had an anger problem, just being honest with you. And I worked so hard at it. I remember the first time I had the battle, I ended up literally on the floor, clutching my stomach. I couldn't push out the anger from my mind. Push out the anger from my mind. The mind is mine, and yet I couldn't master it. I couldn't control it. Again, I meditated. My source is God. I'll just be honest with you. I'm not a saint or anything. I'm just like you are. We all can go to God. He's our Father. He has no choice but to help us when we ask. That's what fathers are for. So I said, you know what the problem is. Well, very quickly, this amazing technique came into my head. And it's called the SEW technique. S-E-W. Stop. Evaluate. Act with wisdom. And we teach this. It's not enough to know what I just shared with you. Maybe for some. I'm not a genius. But even those people who learn how to fly jet planes, repetition is important. A total understanding of the plane is important. There's a lot to it. And so in the courses, I go into that. I explain how the mind works, how it's constructed, how you are constructed as part of the package. We're triune beings, body, mind, and soul. You, the soul, are supposed to be in charge of your body and mind. Anyway, I had him come back, taught him this, took a few sessions. In fact, when I was starting to train counselors, in 2012, I had about 25 counselors to train, and they would come over, and I thought, okay, first thing I'm going to do is just make sure they get this, make sure they understand this. And I had a whiteboard, that's how I do it, and I started laying out how the mind works and all that, and I looked at them, and they were all like, and I realized these are psychologists who don't understand the mind because they're not taught the simplest, concise structure of the mind, how it works, how you operate it, and all that. So I had to take it slow with them too. You have to learn about the mind. Then you could use the SEW to master it, to control the mind. And then, whatever is troubling your marriage, troubling you apply the SEW technique. And guess what? Even for myself, I had not conquered anger by 2001. I started implementing the SEW technique for myself, and it was gone rather quickly. Do I still have anger? It creeps in. I want to say once every 5 or 6 months it'll pop in because something new is triggering, but I'm able to knock it out. And I hope someday there will be no anger. But if you talk to people who know me, they will, and you say, is he angry? No, he's a kind, loving person. And it's because I chose to be who I am. And this is what mastering your mind is all about. And using the SEW technique, you master your mind. It's not just the doubting that is a problem for you. There's other things too, but doubting's a big thing, You have to get rid of doubting. You have to have faith, right? If you have doubt, you don't have faith. Oh, I only have doubt in my husband, for my husband. Well, it's the same creature. Has to be gotten rid of. You're not in a place where you're supposed to be evaluating your husband. You're in a place where you're supposed to be changing the only one person who you are able to change. You. I was having this talk this morning with my wife over coffee, and we were talking about people and how people only change, and we were coming up with examples. People only change when they're ready, and then when they apply the necessary tools. So your husband may be doing things that you think are causing you to doubt him, but the truth is the doubt is the problem that you have, isn't it? And so it's on you to get rid of it. Because what good is it doing your marriage? You want a marriage filled with joy, filled with love, and now those are interrupted by your mind's fixation on doubt. Do you see? Not your fixation on doubt. You're not your mind, but your mind's fixation on doubt. And it comes up with every excuse imaginable. When I worked with people, and like I said, hundreds of people, and in our office, my office was not a psychologist's office. I had a table and chairs, and we would sit down and talk about how to overcome certain things, how to do workarounds and all of that. And someone would go, yeah, but. It was really interesting. That seemed to be what people would introduce their problem with whatever I was talking about with. Yeah, but. Yeah, but. And I say, okay, here comes a flock of yeah, buts. Look, it's either mechanically correct, what I share with you, including in the books that I have and in the courses. It is either mechanically correct or it's mechanically incorrect. And trust me, over the 8 years, I knew what was mechanically correct and mechanically incorrect. So that's why I'm able to help people with their marriages now. And so you should definitely be watching these videos. Again, I'm Paul Friedman. I'm the founder of the Marriage Foundation. And we are here to help you just with your marriage. We don't do the other things that people go to therapists for. We just do marriage. And there's no therapy involved. It's a guidance to get you on the right path of constant joy and love. Joy and love. How can you go wrong? You see? God bless you. Thank you for visiting, and I hope to see you again. Take care.